In the beginning, there was a garden, a paradise on earth so perfect, so pristine. It was called Eden. This was a world teeming with life, where rivers flowed with crystal clear water, and trees bore every kind of delicious fruit. And in the heart of this paradise lived Adam, the first man. He walked with the animals, named them one by one, and lived in perfect harmony with all of creation. He was at peace, but he was alone. Seeing this, God said it was not good for man to be alone. So, while Adam slept, God took one of his ribs and, from it, fashioned a companion for him. When Adam awoke, he saw her, and a sense of completeness washed over him. He called her Eve, and together they were the caretakers of this magnificent garden, living in a state of pure innocence and joy. In the center of the garden stood two special trees, the tree of life, whose fruit granted eternal life, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God brought Adam and Eve to this spot and gave them a single clear instruction. "You may eat from any tree in the garden," he said, "but you must not eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, for when you eat from it, you will certainly die." This one rule was the foundation of their relationship with their Creator, a test of their trust and obedience. For a time, they honored this command, enjoying the boundless wonders of Eden without a single worry. But a shadow was lurking in paradise. A serpent, described as more cunning than any other beast, watched them. It slithered through the lush grass, its eyes fixed on Eve, and saw an opportunity. It approached her, its voice a smooth, persuasive whisper. Did God really say, "You must not eat from any tree in the garden"? The question was a subtle twist of God's words, designed to plant a seed of doubt. Eve corrected the serpent, repeating God's command, but added that they weren't even supposed to touch the tree, lest they die. The serpent seized on her uncertainty. "You will not certainly die," it hissed, directly contradicting God. For God knows that when you eat from it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil. The promise was intoxicating. Wisdom, power, a status equal to God himself. It was a temptation wrapped in the allure of forbidden knowledge. Eve stood before the tree, the serpent's words echoing in her mind. She looked at the fruit. It was beautiful, a delight to the eyes, and the serpent had promised it would make her wise. The desire for this forbidden knowledge, this promised enlightenment, began to consume her. The single command from God now seemed like a restriction, a barrier holding her back from something greater. The trust she had in her Creator began to waver, replaced by a growing curiosity and a yearning for what she was told she couldn't have. She reached out, plucked the glistening fruit from the branch, and took a bite. The taste was sweet, but the consequence was immediate and profound. A new kind of awareness flooded her senses, but she was not alone in this. She turned to Adam, the fruit still in her hand, and offered it to him. Perhaps she didn't want to be alone in her newfound state, or perhaps she wanted him to share in this supposed wisdom. Adam, who had been with her, looked at the fruit, looked at Eve, and, without protest, he also took a bite. In an instant, their world shattered. Their eyes were opened, just as the serpent had promised, but what they saw was not divine wisdom. They saw their own vulnerability, their own nakedness. A wave of shame, an emotion they had never known, washed over them. They scrambled to cover themselves, hastily sewing fig leaves together to hide their bodies from each other and from themselves. The age of innocence was over. In the cool of the day, they heard a familiar sound, the sound of God walking in the garden. But this time, instead of running to greet him, they were filled with a new, chilling emotion: fear. They hid themselves among the trees, hoping to escape his sight. But you cannot hide from the one who sees all. Where are you? God called out to Adam. His voice wasn't just asking for a location. It was asking about Adam's state, his heart. Adam, trembling, replied, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." God's next question cut straight to the heart of the matter. Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I commanded you not to eat from? The moment of truth had arrived. Instead of confessing, Adam pointed his finger. "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." He blamed both Eve and, implicitly, God himself for giving him the woman. God then turned to Eve. "What is this you have done?" Eve, following Adam's lead, also shifted the blame. "The serpent deceived me, and I ate," she said. No one took responsibility. It was a chain of accusations, a desperate attempt to deflect the weight of their own choices. The consequences for their disobedience were swift and severe. God first addressed the serpent. Because it had orchestrated this rebellion, it was cursed above all other animals. "You will crawl on your belly, and you will eat dust all the days of your life," God declared. He also foretold a perpetual conflict between the serpent's offspring and the woman's offspring, a prophecy of an ongoing spiritual battle. Next, God turned to Eve. Her curse was tied to the very things that brought her life and relationship. He told her, "I will make your pains in childbearing very severe. With painful labor you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." The beautiful partnership she once shared with Adam was now fractured by a struggle for power and marred by pain. Finally, God spoke to Adam because he listened to his wife instead of obeying God. The very ground he was meant to cultivate would now be cursed. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you at work. Once a joyful act of stewardship would now be a struggle, a constant battle against a resistant earth. And Adam, who was made from dust, was reminded of his mortality. "By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you will return." The promise of death, once a distant warning, was now a certainty. The paradise they had known was lost to them forever. God said, "The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil." He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat, and live forever. to live eternally in their now fallen, broken stater world of shame, fear, pain, and toil would be an unending tragedy. And so, with a heavy heart, God banished Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden. He clothed them in garments of skin, a first sacrifice to cover their shame, and then sent them out into the world beyond the garden's gates, to guard the way back, to prevent any return to the tree of life. God placed mighty cherubim and a flaming sword that flashed back and forth at the east of the garden. The gate to paradise was closed. Adam and Eve, the first man and woman, stepped out into a new, harsh reality, forever changed by a single choice. Their story serves as a powerful reminder of the consequences of disobedience, the pain of separation from our source, and the enduring human struggle between trust and the temptation for forbidden knowledge. Thank you so much for joining the Royals Outreach Ministries International on this journey back to the very beginning. If this story resonated with you, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories that have shaped our world. See you next time. God bless you.